All right, come on, everybody out. Everybody up. Let's wake up in there. Over there, tent 2, out. Let's go down to the dip. You fellas are already late. Come on. What's the matter? You allergic to water? Come on, let's go to the dip. You're late already. It's 6:01. You can't stay in bed all day. Come on, down to the dip. Let's go. Move it faster. Come on, let's go. Faster, gang. All the way now. Come on, let's go.
School begins at 6 a.m. every day. The first class is a biology lab that keeps exploring the effects on the human body of leaving a warm bed, running nearly a mile at an altitude of 9,000 feet, and jumping into a pool of ice water. There is no extra credit for this course, and everybody takes it because there is no way to get around it. And that goes for everything else in the curriculum.
Where I lived and what I lived for. It is appropriate to have this passage read to you at those reading this course, for in it are many of the deep truths of why we are you and I. I went to the woods because I wanted to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life, for living is so dear. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put to rout all that was not life, and to cut a broad swath and shave close, and drive life into a corner, and reduce it to its lowest terms. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. Let us have a moment of silence.
On this particular day in June, there were 96 boys enrolled in this school. 96 boys from cities and towns, from tenements and townhouses, from the social register, and from nothing more exclusive than the telephone book. Caddies and boys whose fathers drive caddies. Country club boys, boys club boys, juvenile court boys. Sons of somebodies, sons of anybody's. But no matter who or from where, every one of them was about to experience 26 days in the Colorado Outward Bound School, on a campus sitting in the Rocky Mountains west of Denver, in a classroom rising from 9,000 to 14,000 feet above the Crystal River. The boys had been in school less than a day when they were told that they were the mountain search and rescue team for this area. They understood vaguely what search and rescue meant, but none of them had ever found and rescued anybody from a mountain. They were told that they might not be needed, but that they had to be prepared, and they started by getting their feet off the friendly, flat ground. Nobody asked them if they were afraid of heights. Does anybody ask a mountain rescue team such a question?
This log is going to swing, it's going to keep swinging. Just make up your mind to go over fairly quickly and have in mind reaching here.
Some boys have a natural sense of balance and a lot of spring in their legs.
You insist on a pirouette halfway through this thing. All we ask is just a simple, straightforward
Some boys haven't. But that was no excuse here. The school was divided into 8 patrols of 12 boys, and each patrol was competing doggedly against the others. That placed a burden of individual responsibility on every student.
I guarantee it. Now, you're like this, and you got enormous...
Outward bound instructors do not negotiate with students. They explain, they demonstrate, and then they demand performance. There are no detours in the course. There is only one grade, pass. A lot of these boys thought they had stretched their nerve back home when they climbed a tall tree or walked on a roof. But this was different. This sometimes made their skin crawl and the sweat pop out on their foreheads. Mario Mazzoli, a New York City boy, needed a push off a birch stump, and he got it in words.
Come on, Mario.
New York City boys have no guts.
Come on.
Come on, Mario. Go. Push. They've used too much time already.
It just wasn't possible to get through a day on a set of spongy muscles and half a lungful of air. The fat had to melt, the chest had to expand, the muscles had to grow tough and taut. More than one boy wondered what it was all about. More than one said it was a pretty nutty operation, and what was it trying to prove? But there was this about it. It couldn't be ignored. It was an unpredictable mixture of surprise, adventure, and challenge. The ropes dared the patrol to get up and get over. The rope said, "You're chicken," and the patrol went up the swaying ladder and over the shaky bridge, scared and scornful at the same time, but mostly scared. For a boy who had been only as high as the attic or done most of his climbing in an elevator, this was a nightmare at noon. Time after time, the boys who were scared the most showed the biggest grins. After a while, the patrol remembered old Tarzan movies and began to look like a troupe of acrobats with their shirt tails out. Mario swung across a clearing one afternoon and discovered that timing is essential. He grinned. The faculty set a forest fire. It was no fake. And it was no fake when the patrol was brought to the scene with no warning, no preparation. "This is your baby," the instructor said. Up till now, these boys had always depended on the local fire department to take care of such matters. Or maybe smoke jumpers dropping out of the sky with parachutes, like the heroes on TV. But this was now. The boys were handed axes and fire tanks, and they were the fire department and the smoke jumpers. And this was their baby. For the first time, the patrol got the idea that they were not only protecting their own neighborhood, but serving the people of Colorado and everybody else who values green forests above acres of charcoal. Team operations came in rapid sequence after the forest fire. There were no printed directions, no illustrations showing step 1, step 2, just the problem, the starting signal, and the stopwatch. Always that stopwatch. The patrol was now leading the competition with the other outfits in school, and a sense of pride spread through their collective life.
Come on. Go.
That's a minute and a half and 7 seconds.
The day they went over the wall, they learned that some kinds of cooperation can be a pain in the neck, a strain on the patience, a sweaty grind. And that this kind of cooperation can accomplish great things.
Now grab the seat of his pants. That's it. That's it. That's it.
1 minute. Be careful where you're putting your feet. Ely. Mario. Let me hold my hand, Mario. Hold my bill. Yeah. Wait. Okay, 1 minute. 60 seconds and only...
All right, go on.
Oh, hold it.
Mario. Come on, Andre.
The wall remained a wall. It ceased to be a barrier.
Okay, come on. Sit down.
Okay. Okay, 1 minute. All right. That's all we have to say, Barry.
If there is one thing a mountain rescue team must have, it is the capacity to stay fit and be effective under the worst conditions of the environment in which it works. The boys learned the very real and very earnest facts about living on the land. Long woolen underwear may itch, but it is better to itch than to freeze to death. The map and the compass in this place do not say very much about the nearest Howard Johnson hot dog or the 4-lane highway to Denver. They are instruments against the hazard of being lost in a land without motels, without mothers, and without friendly service stations. Taught to use the map and the compass, the patrol began a series of marches to remote places, along the valley of the Crystal River, and up from there on slopes still white with late snow. As the classroom points to experience beyond, so the patrol moved on from training to the trail that tested everything they had learned. The ropes they had wrestled, the heights they had feared and mastered, became their highways through the forests and their necessary elevations above wild rivers. They now had faith in situations that once had made them wary and tense. There was much more they had to learn, essential things. A small blister on the foot can produce great pains. A powdered orange drink is better than no fruit at all. A pair of dry socks can make the spirits purr. A boot should not be bigger than the foot, nor smaller. A warm bed and an adequate shelter need not be an inner spring mattress with an electric blanket under a shingled roof. The wind is an enemy to be shut out. Cold is a cruel antagonist. Wood is an essential element. Civilization is not a matter of geography. It is the practice of a civilized man, wherever he is. Elementary food, oatmeal, acquired a significance far beyond anything eaten at home. It didn't look like a steak. It didn't have the shape of a pork chop. It was portable. It wouldn't spoil without refrigeration. Delicious? No. Essential? Yes. There was no walking away from the dirty dishes, pots, and pans. And there was no place to put the laundry where Mother could find it. There were no services of any kind available here. bathroom was rough, rocky, and huge. The running water had only one faucet. Cold. And there was the rope, that everlasting rope. What it could and couldn't do.
Yell it out now. All right, now, take it off. He gave you climb, so you're safe. Take it off. Over your shoulder. Now, yeah, drop it.
An instructor the boys knew affectionately as the old man of the mountain had a classroom all his own on the side of the mountain. And he talked about rope.
Now, son, when you get on a rope, the first thing you have to do is to save your own life. Don't you dare let some monkey pull you off a mountain. And that's just exactly what will happen if you're standing around.
And then one afternoon, the patrol was confronted with a dramatic and terrifying challenge. A mountaineering tactic called rappel. A descent by rope down a sheer rock cliff that looked like fear with a stone face. Window washers on city skyscrapers wouldn't have given it more than a nod. Steel workers and steeplejacks would have taken it as just another day's work. But even for them, there had to be a first time, and this was the first time for the patrol. There was no turning back, no bypass. Every boy had to go down. This was an adventure unavailable from a sofa in front of a television set. This was a cliffhanger with audience participation. This did not build character. This revealed what character was there. Every boy knew that a safety rope would protect him from the worst. But that was a small consolation to a kid looking far, far down to his next stop.
What's her name?
Mario.
Mario what?
Missouri.
Mario Mazzoli, when his turn came, heard his soul protest with the little boy's cry of fright. He heard it, and he would not accept it.
Go down. Woo. Take your hand off. Yeah, I can do it now. Come on, let me go.
After that, Mario went down the cliff. The philosophy of Outward Bound is this. We are not in the recreation business. We want a chance to enable young people to discover what wonderful qualities they really have. A 6-mile marathon presents that kind of an opportunity. 6 miles, many of them uphill. To a boy dedicated to cigarettes, cartwheels of pizza, and gallons of soft drinks, a mile seems a long, long run. After the first mile, the second seems possible, but not probable. After the third and fourth, he might be walking and waiting for his second wind. But somehow, he finds the strength and the will to go on. Because others are counting on him. Because the stopwatch is on him. And he's competing. He's competing with himself, and his team is competing with every patrol in camp. Some of the boys were so blinded by their own